Hello, my name is Amanda Webb, and I'm a graduate student at Liberty University. Throughout the course of this video, you will hear this sound. That is to indicate to my professor when to turn the PowerPoint slide screen. I've learned a lot through the course Human Resources 508, and one of the things I have determined is to have an overarching goal, and that is to be a mindful listener. John Stewart states in his book, Bridges, Not Walls, that mindful listening is the mind and body working together to communicate. He also states that mindfulness connects us with the experience of the moment, no matter what the activity. With listening, mindfulness connects us to the listener. I have 4 children and a husband, and I also work with 20 teenagers. People are always talking, but one thing I have realized is I've not been listening mindfully. I want to be able to connect to whoever is taking their time to speak to me. Miles Carbonell states in his book, How to Solve the People Puzzle, that people fit better in life where they are understood and comfortable. That is my goal. I want people to feel understood and comfortable. I've also enjoyed Miles Carbonell's book in finding who I am and who God created me to be, as he discusses the 4 personality types, DISC. If my biological father were with us today, he would test out as an I personality. Carbonell describes that as a spark plug that energizes and encourages others to be optimistic and positive. My mother, on the other hand, would test to be an S personality, I'm sure. Not willing to speak out or be noticed in a crowd, yet steady, stable, loyal, and faithful. Of the 2 tests that we were asked to take online, the first graph showed who we are among people, kind of a surface type relationship. The second test showed who we are to the people that are closest to us. The first test, no surprise, showed that I was a blend of both of my parents, an IS personality. That means that I'm outgoing, yet reserved, stands out in a crowd, blends well in a small group, both active and passive, energetic and expressive, and quiet and shy. You see, these 2 very different personalities put into one person can bring confusion if I let it. In fact, the enemy had spent many years lying to me that I was unstable, inconsistent. Something was wrong with me because of my vast different emotions depending upon who I was with and where I was. I'm learning now that I am that way because God created me to be that way. Nature versus nurture has been a question for many years. In the magazine or the journal, New Scientist Journal, it states that genes spend just as much of their time responding to actions as they do causing them. This is in an article titled, Genes Are So Liberating. What this tells us is that nature and nurture are both working together to make us who we are. To prove this point, my adopted dad, who came into my life when I was 4 and became my daddy, would test out at a C personality, the planner and organizer of projects. To prove that nature versus nurture really is a combination of both, my at-heart deepest personality trait is that of the ISC personality, a blend of both of my biological parents and a blend of my daddy as well. The book states that people with an ISC personality prefer peace and harmony as well as organized environments. They state that people usually like our multifaceted flexibility. However, they wish that we'd be a bit more decisive and direct. I think if you were to speak to the people closest to me, they would agree with that statement. Barriers for my communications would be because of the fact that I like peace and harmony and I want everyone happy. I related to a comment that Madeline Burley Allen made in the book, Listening, the Forgotten Art. She states, studies show that when people are anxious or worried about approval, they have trouble concentrating on what is being said. I have found that to be true most of my life. Because I fear people's reactions, I have a hard time concentrating on what they're trying to tell me. Fully understanding that I am who I am because God made me that way will hopefully help me to become a better mindful listener. James Peterson also says in his book, Why Don't We Listen Better?, that people generally respond better when we are responsible to them and not for them. Because of my personality and wanting everyone to be in peace and harmony and wanting everyone to be happy, I find myself trying to fix things that God never intended me to fix in the first place. By doing that, I'm not allowing them to make the choices that God wants them to make. by this comment by James Peterson, by becoming more responsible to people rather than for them, I'm going to enable them to be a better person. That is going to be a challenge, but I know God will help me achieve it. Noise pollution is a very big problem in my life. As I stated, 4 children and a husband, 20 teenagers at my workplace. In the Southern Medical Journal, an article states and defines noise pollution as anything that interferes with the ability to comprehend normal speech. That could be a vast array of different things. The television, cell phone, radio, whatever it is, other people talking. Maybe it's internal, the things going on in our mind. Those things can keep us from being a mindful listener, and I know that that is true in my life. Stewart also states in his book that people speak, an average person speaks, at a rate of 125 words per minute. However, we have the ability to process and listen at a rate of 500 words per minute. So we can see why sometimes our mind wanders as people are speaking. So what is my game plan to achieve my overarching goal of being a mindful listener? Well, here at the school that I work at, when a parent comes in and are concerned about different things with their children, I take them into the office and I shut the door to keep out any distractions that could come between our conversation. And I thought this week as I was working on this project, my children and the people God places in my life deserve that same respect and that same concentration from me. So my game plan then is to consciously shut out the world and focus on the speaker, whoever that may be. If that means dinner is a little late, then so be it. Laundry can be folded later. I want to put my life on hold for the moment to fully connect with whoever is speaking to me. John Stewart states that concentration is the key to performing any meaningful activity well. Concentration is not anything we're born with. We must learn how to do it. And for some of us, it's a little harder than others. But I know that God will give us the strength to do it. James 1:19 says that we are to be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath. We should be quick to listen to people, but slow before we offer our opinion, our advice, or make any comments. Fully soak in what someone has to say because it's important to them. That is being a mindful listener. 2 Corinthians 10:5 states that we're to bring every thought into captivity to the obedience of Christ. Now, coming from the South, I picture this little angel that has a cowboy hat and cowboy boots and a lasso. And every time a thought tries to get away from me that I'm supposed to be focusing on, that angel will lasso that thought in so I can focus on who's speaking. One thing I am grateful for is that God has begun to birth in me a passion for Psalm 139, and this course has just confirmed everything that it states in that passage. My favorite verse is verse 14, because it says, I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well. When we buy into the lie that we are not important, that we have no value, no purpose, no identity, and no reason for being here, we will never be able to fulfill what God has called us to do. I'm thankful for this class. I'm thankful for Liberty University, but most important, I'm thankful for a God who saw fit to take 2 completely different personalities, bring them together for such a time to create me. I'm thankful for that, and I'm thankful for the man that he placed into my life to add that 3rd component into my personality to make me who I am. Because now that I know who God has called me to be, I am fully equipped to pour that into my children. Thank you.